I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. There's a place right here in Ann Arbor using horsepower to create physical agility, confidence, and calm. Check it out. Therapeutic Riding is a nonprofit that relies on the dedication of over 200 volunteers.
Boots, Brews, and Barbecue. It's Therapeutic Riding's annual festive gala fundraising event. It's based on fun, dance, games, learning barn science, meeting the horses, meeting some of our riders, interacting with our volunteers, and having an opportunity to see some of the new programs that are coming down the road.
We currently have 13 horses that are used in our program. And in speaking with our trainers and our different horse staff, what makes them really special is the fact that it's their disposition. A lot of these horses have worked in various atmospheres before, but it takes a special horse that's going to be calm and it's going to be a nice strong presence that a rider can work with.
The horses even showed off their artistry by creating works for the silent auction.
They used carrots and carrot tops for paint brushes. They baited the horses onto the canvases with things like peppermints. They allowed the horses to help select the paint colors. And interestingly enough, some of the horses really enjoyed it.
So it's really a great opportunity for people to support folks with their growth, folks with just happiness overall.
It's cognitive, it's emotional, it's physical. They gain strength, they gain maturity. They have opportunities to interact. They create a support group for themselves, and the growth over time is amazing and heartwarming.
For more, visit therapeuticridinginc.org. Stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly with more news and information. When our loved ones pass, their memory lives on with the people whose lives they touched. But what happens when those people pass on? The legacy created in life disappears, or has it? The Saline Rotary Club is bringing history to life during the Oakwood Cemetery Enactment Tour.
It's an opportunity to tell people about some of the people that were ancestors here. There were some very, very famous. You recognize their names. They're on streets. Other people might not have heard of, but still have an interesting story to tell.
We've invited people from the community and to listen to our stories of the people who used to live here in the 1850s.
This Saline Cemetery provides a rich history of the people who once walked the city's streets.
Callie was a teacher. She started teaching at 15, and she was in charge of the first primary district in Saline Union Schools. Students still go to that school to this day. No one really knows how she died. It's really a mystery. She died 2 days before her 18th birthday. Her family was planning a surprise birthday party before her 18th birthday. As fate would have it, her funeral was held on that day instead.
Levi was a person that he had two great accomplishments. One, he made he bred a form of wheat, a variety, a hybrid of wheat that you can still buy today on the internet, which whatever that means. He also was the father of Frank Haynes, very famous photographer, and also not just an advocate for Yellowstone Park, but a person who went on to have a lot of very interesting adventures in Yellowstone Park, some that nearly cost him his life.
It gives an in-depth insight of what life was like around the 1800s in Saline. And you get to know a few of the people, and they're not just ordinary stones in the ground, there are actual people there.
Take a stroll through history at this year's Oakwood Cemetery Enactment Tour on October 6th from 2 to 6 p.m. Visit salinerotary.org for advance tickets. With an unseasonably warm autumn, there's still plenty of time to get out and ride. But before your wheels hit the pavement, learn some tips to keep your bike in tip-top shape in this month's City Roundup in 60.
Hello, I'm Doug Martell with the Ann Arbor Police Department. We're going to talk about a pre-check on your bikes. I call it the ABC. You're getting ready to dust your bikes off for the season. So A is for air. Make sure that your tires are properly inflated, that you have good tread on your tires. B for brakes. You want to make sure that your brakes are working properly, because if you're going, you're going to need to stop at some point. So make sure that your brakes are working properly. If you need help with those, I'm sure your local bike shop will help you out. And C is for chain. You need to have a chain that's working well, that's not rusty and corroded. So make sure that your chain is working. If it's rusty and it doesn't look like it's going to take any lube, your local bike shop can help you out getting the right length of chain for you. Thanks for watching. Please ride safely. Enjoy the ride.
The Ann Arbor Area Transportation Authority, or the RIDE, is seeing change on the horizon. But these decisions are not to be made in haste, and that's why they want to hear from you. And you'll have plenty of chances to be heard at public input sessions throughout the next month. Joining me is Tim Sanderson, Deputy CEO of Planning and Innovation for the RIDE. Welcome to the show, Tim.
Thank you. Really happy to be here.
So why don't you first kind of tell me what is going on with the RIDE? What sort of changes are you looking to make?
Well, we don't necessarily know what the changes are now. We want to hear from the community and really engage with the community in order to hear what their vision of transit in the future is. So that's really why we've embarked upon this process, in order to really develop a vision of transit in the Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti, Ypsi Township area for the foreseeable future.
And this is a long-range plan that's happening. But do you see at the moment, were there sort of issues that you felt like you needed to hear from the public?
We've got an awesome transit system here, and we're very fortunate to have the level of community support that we have. But there's always room for improvement. There is, when we take a look at a number of different studies, we know that congestion is set to increase. With an aging population, there's different transportation challenges that come up as a result of that. And again, just the environmental reasons going forward. So although we've got a great system now, there's always room to make it better, more relevant for the community.
So this is actually more so future projections than it is like seeing sort of issues at the moment. You're worried about what's to come.
That's right. You know, we just want to make sure that we're relevant and we're meeting the needs of the community. As far as transportation goes, and whether that's somebody that makes the decision that we hope to ride the bus, or even somebody that isn't going to. Again, we're just a big part of that transportation piece, and we affect everybody, so we want to hear from them.
And when we talk about this long-range plan, you mentioned some of the stuff like environmental factors. Are there anything else that you would see categories of inclusion?
Yeah, we have, most transit improvements are concentrated in about 5 different categories, and a lot of them are fairly simple, and some of them are very complex, but it could be anywhere from increasing the frequency of buses, which is the one thing that we can do that the public doesn't necessarily see, but has a really big payback as far as ridership, because it makes our services more convenient. So anything from that to new features for transit, such as being able to pay with your smartphone, or bus rapid transit, which is buses that are similar to trains, to new facilities. So we're really looking at the entire gamut.
Yeah, and since it is a long-range plan, you want to look at a wide scope of things, because you don't want to have to keep going back to this like in just like a year from now or whatever.
Absolutely, and the transit market is really changing. Again, I've been in transit for a number of years, and this is the most dynamic time that I've ever seen it, with the innovations that are coming, not just with your smartphone and the ability to do things with that, but also with vehicles, autonomous vehicles. And again, we don't know what the future is. We just want to be prepared for it.
Yeah, and you know, mentioning the smartphone thing, that's like an obvious transition, I think. Like you go to Starbucks, and that's how people pay at Starbucks. So it's just, that is the future. We're heading there now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, the things that are possible now, we would have never dreamt of 15 years ago.
Oh, yeah, completely. So when do you hope to have this plan in place or completed?
Well, the plan itself, we're hoping to be completed within about a year from now. But that doesn't mean that we've checked off all the boxes and everything is done. That really will inform our future short-term plans in order to see what we're going to implement and just make sure that the first thing we implement still allows us to implement the last part of the plan as well, and so that we do it in a disciplined fashion.
So you guys are holding quite a few public input sessions, but those are one way? Can the public input in other ways, and why should they come to these sessions?
Well, there's a lot of good reasons to come to these sessions. The first one is this is really your opportunity to shape the future of transit in this area going forward. And we do have a number of them because we want to hear all kinds of ideas, and whether it's somebody's transit needs or something that they want, or just even ideas or
like there's
or
no
even a
bad
concern.
idea. Just throw the idea out there.
We want to hear it,
Yeah.
we want to record it, and we're not going to put all of them in the plan, but we want to hear from you.
Are there other ways other than going to an input session? Can you go online? Can you send an email?
Absolutely. We've set up a website, www.theride.org/Transit for Tomorrow, and there's a number of different ways for you to you can watch a little video on what this plan's looking like, and you can provide feedback from there as well. Additionally, you can email us or put a phone number or phone us, and all that information is on that website.
Okay, well, before we go, is there anything else you'd like to add, reasons why people should come, or just to be in the know?
You know what, we just, again, really want to see a really good turnout for these sessions. But again, if you're unable to do that, to just give us the comments, and we want to hear everything, and everything will be considered.
If you would just like to add why you feel like, public transit is so important in the area, and why we should be heard, because it is sort of a big deal.
Sure, and especially in a region with Ann Arbor where there's a large concentration in a small area, we can't build our way out of our transportation problems, and public transit really is the answer to a lot of the challenges that we're facing going forward, and it really just helps towards the quality of life of all residents of the area.
Thank you, Tim,
for
coming on the show.
Thank you, it's been a pleasure.
For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer, and remember to like, comment, and share. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.